I lead the pledge of allegiance. Lieutenant Colonel. Air Force.
Medical service book.
Do what?
Medical service book.
Medical Service Corps of the Air Force.
That is, there's fours within that.
Ready? All right, call this meeting to order. Thank all y'all for being here tonight. Sure appreciate this nice weather we're having. For those of you who missed the end of the work session, we are having an event tomorrow at the Pine Mountain Airport. Back during World War II, one of the pilots, one of the bombers, started doing making little tiny parachutes and attaching candy to them and dropping those out of the airplane for some of the children. Over where was that?
It's part of the Berlin airlift.
In Berlin, part of the Berlin airlift.
They were bringing food.
This weekend is Thunder in the Valley in Columbus, and I think there are only 2 of these planes still operating. 6 still operating in the United States, and one of them is going to be here at Fort Thunder in the Valley, and we have arranged for them to do a candy drop in Harris County. So any kids that are available and want to get up there can get up there. That would be great. They're also going to park the plane and they have a little museum in it, kind of explaining the stuff, so that you can go through and tour the plane. And they're still filming the documentary, as far as we know.
They're doing that in Columbus.
Okay.
John changed their legal thing, and they didn't answer us after I sent it back to them.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I think it's a great opportunity for us here in Harris County, a fun thing to do for young and old alike.
Do you want me to share my little story from today?
Sure, go ahead.
Andy could probably tell it better, but there was a lady out there that Andy met from Katala named Anna, who's of German heritage, who was in Berlin when the Soviets had blockaded it. Unfortunately, she was on East Berlin side. No. She was on the West Berlin side, but she could never go out because she was babysitting her little brother. So she never got to go out and catch one of the parachutes that they dropped with the candy. She showed up today. They took her on the plane, gave her a tour of the plane, and they dropped a parachute with a candy bar out the window to her. So 65 years later, she finally got her candy bar.
All right. That's a great story.
It's at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. 11 a.m. All right, if you would, please bow your head for an invocation. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to carry about the business of the county. We ask for your guidance. We ask for wisdom, that we make the decisions that are in the best interest of all of our citizens. We thank you, O Lord, for all of the wonderful things that we as Americans are able to utilize and see every day that so many other folks do not have. I'm afraid, often do not give the attention and the thanks that we should to the wonderful things that are provided to us in this country, and give us the ability to work for the things so that we can follow our pursuits. Oh Lord, we ask that you be with our servicemen, both here and abroad. Watch over them and keep them safe. We ask that you be with the citizens of Harris County, with the county employees. We ask that you be with our state leaders and our national leaders so that they keep these freedoms going. We ask these things in your name. Amen. I would now like to call on our county manager, Greg Wood, Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Air Force in the Medical Corps, and would ask Greg to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for your service. first item on the agenda is the minutes of the March 3rd meeting. Do I have a motion? Move to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval and a couple of seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Appearance of citizens?
No, sir.
No? All right, thank you, ma'am. Old business? Any old business? All right. New business. You know, we are blessed in Harris County to have citizens who have a great interest in what goes on in the county and are willing to do their share to help in the governance of this county. Of course, when you have those folks, unfortunately, eventually they decide that they've had enough and it's time to retire. And we are very fortunate tonight. It's kind of a sad occasion, but it's a good occasion too. We have two gentlemen here tonight that have served on the Planning Commission for a long period of time. And we are going to honor them with a resolution. First, I would like to ask James Rogers to come forward with Ms. Rogers, if you would please. Because you couldn't have done it if she hadn't let you.
I'm sure she gave plenty of advice too.
That's always appreciated. This is a resolution honoring James Rogers. Whereas in the course of time and history, when dedicated public leaders must pass the mantle of service on to others, they leave a particular void that is difficult to fill. And whereas the Harris County Board of Commissioners appointed James Rogers to the Harris County Planning Commission on September 20th, 1983, and his first meeting as a member of the Planning Commission was on October 12th, 1983. And whereas James Rogers participated in the drafting, discussion, and recommendation of approval of the Harris County Subdivision Regulation and the Harris County Zoning Ordinance, thus shaping the development of Harris County while maintaining the character and aesthetic qualities so desired by its citizens. And whereas James Rogers was committed to the betterment of Harris County and was instrumental in making decisions regarding preliminary and final subdivision plats and in making recommendations to the Harris County Board of Commissioners regarding rezoning applications. And whereas James Rogers served as chairman of the Harris County Planning Commission for 19 years, skillfully conducting the Planning Commission meetings to ensure compliance with procedures and regulations. And whereas James Rogers resigned from the Harris County Planning Commission in July of 2014, having served Harris County more than 31 years by providing strong leadership and vision in a sometimes controversial and stormy atmosphere. Now therefore be it resolved that the Harris County Board of Commissioners does hereby honor James Rogers for his service, dedication, and commitment to the citizens of Harris County, and that this resolution be presented to this dedicated and faithful servant, and a copy be spread upon the minutes of the Board of Commissioners of Harris County. So resolved this 17th day of March 2015, Harris County Board of Commissioners. I would offer this as a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carried. Mr. Rogers, thank you, sir, so very, very much for your service. You have set an example for those to follow, and we certainly appreciate all you did for us and continue to do by blessing us as a citizen of this county. Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
31 years is a lot of years, folks. However, we have one more. Willie Rutledge. Would you please come forward? Both of these gentlemen retired very close to each other, and I think it's really quite fitting that we do that they're here to receive recognition the same evening. They did a phenomenal job for Harris County. Resolution honoring Willie Rutledge. Whereas, in the course of time and history, when dedicated public leaders must pass the mantle of service on to others, they leave a particular void that is difficult to fill. And whereas the Harris County Board of Commissioners appointed Willie Rutledge to the Harris County Planning Commission on January 20th, 1982. And his first meeting as a member of the Planning Commission was on February 17th, 1982. And whereas Willie Rutledge participated in the drafting, discussion, and recommendation of approval of the Harris County subdivision regulations and the Harris County zoning ordinance, thus helping to shape the development of Harris County while maintaining the character and aesthetic qualities so desired by its citizens. And whereas Willie Rutledge was committed to the betterment of Harris County and was instrumental in making decisions regarding preliminary and final subdivision plats, and in making recommendations to the Harris County Board of Commissioners regarding rezoning applications. Whereas Willie Rutledge served as Vice Chairman of the Harris County Planning Commission for 15 years, and willingly stepped up to the plate and acted as Chairman when called to do so. And whereas Willie Rutledge resigned from the Harris County Planning Commission effective December 31, 2014, having served Harris County more than 32 years by providing leadership and vision in a sometimes controversial and stormy atmosphere. Now therefore be it resolved that the Harris County Board of Commissioners does hereby honor Willie Rutledge for his service, dedication, and commitment to the citizens of Harris County, and that this resolution be presented to this dedicated and faithful servant, and a copy be spread upon the minutes of the Board of Commissioners of Harris County. So resolved this 17th day of March, 2015. And I offer that as a resolution.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carried. Willie, thank you, sir, for all of your service, for your guidance and leadership, and for everything you've meant and continue to mean to this county.
Thank you very much.
We thank you, sir.
That's a total of 63 years.
63 years.
Mr. Rutledge.
Wonderful.
Mr. Rutledge served on the Board of Education during that period of time, too.
Well, folks, these, you know, it's one of the things in that resolution, and it was frankly a very key thing for Harris County, was the zoning regulations. And while I guess those have been for years much discussed and cussed, I think you all have to agree that Harris County still has continued to exist with those things that draw people to it. And the vision and foresight that these two gentlemen and the folks that served with them at that point in time, I think that testament as to how popular Harris County is a testament to their leadership. Thank you again. All right, next item on the agenda is the financial statement for January of 2015. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval, do I have a second? Do we have a second? Any discussion?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Have we received the $50,000 from the Cattlemen's Association?
I believe we have, yes.
Yes. We have, okay. And on the ag building, there's still an expense showing for water. Can you tell me what that is? It's about $4,000.
I looked it up and I remember. I told you that answer, now I forget what it was.
that have to do with the, we had to have the fall come?
No,
The what?
That would, no, okay.
it was the way that they were allocating funds. I think I got him to take, I think he was supposed to take that off.
Was it the Ag Center building or the Ag Center area?
It was the ag building.
I thought I got pulled that, when we brought that up, I thought we got it pulled off and it was supposed to go over someplace to, in the next statement.
Then I'd like to, and I don't know if I can do this or not, until it's corrected. Can I table it?
Sure, yeah.
Bring it back.
So we had already approved it.
No.
No, we
No, we
hadn't, I'm
hadn't.
sorry.
We got a motion and a
So
second.
we got a table, and that's good till, we get that answer. Good, okay. Next is we have 3 requests for tax refund. They're all by the same person, for 3 different years, 2012, 13, and 14. The requester is Deborah Poole, 1511 West Bon Acre Road in Catawba. The amount for 2012 was $37.28, for 2013 is $38.77, and for 2014 is $38.69. They've apparently been paying taxes on 1.27 acres, but the plat shows that it's only 1.01 acres, and that has been checked, and both the tax commissioner and the board of tax assessors agree, and with the request for a refund. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the refunds for all 3 years.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand.
How are the plats done? The description?
With the subdivision, the acreage is shown on each lot. So it was apparently just some entry error years ago.
The tax assessor's office said that the error was made sometime back, they don't know when, but the deeds and the plats show 1.01. And it was discovered that the 1.27 was wrong when they went back to resurvey, when the property owner had something surveyed.
The reason why I was asking, just so this would not be repeated as much as possible.
It's on the plats, and the acreage was usually right there smack in the middle.
I think it was just entry error
Yeah.
when they did just something similar.
And then you get down just relying on the property owner to notice that difference when they get this out. All right, any other discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Okay, next is a job description for the correctional officer. Greg?
As you recall, at the last meeting, we requested that the commission approve the combination of the outside detail and the folks that work inside. So what we did is merge the crew supervisor and the correctional officer job description. We didn't have to make a lot of changes, but that is before you for consideration.
Warden has reviewed it. He made a couple of minor,
Who?
the warden,
Okay,
he made a couple of minor corrections.
I have one spelling, just a typo. The 5th description there, it starts with the sentence performs. The second line there, it's going to/from.
Got it.
Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, discussion. The changes that were made, do you have those? The minor changes with the word?
Oh, it was, just a change of a word or two, it was nothing drastic. It was, no, I don't have them in front of me.
Is it in what we have or not?
Oh, the corrections are made, you have the correct version.
Okay, we have the correct
We have
version.
the correct
Okay,
version.
that's correct. All right, all in favor, then signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Next one is job description for Development Services Director, County Engineer. Greg?
Again, the board approved several meetings ago that we would redefine the position of the Community Development Director and change the name to facilitate having a county engineer in that position. This job description covers that. There have been some changes suggested already by Commissioner Tuning, which have not been incorporated because they were sent out, given after the agenda was out. She reviewed and had some comments, and Nancy has those. That was somewhat from her legal perspective. I figure it's better to get the legal perspective up front than be explaining it in the courtroom.
Okay, I had a couple of questions. On page 1, the third bullet from the bottom, works with county manager and county clerk, the development and implementation of amendments to the zoning ordinance subdivision regulations. Did you consider putting county planner in that?
Yeah, did we already make that change?
Not yet.
But we discussed it.
Certainly did. Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be all three, county manager, planner, and county clerk?
Yeah, and in some instances, we tried to, the way we were structured before, we didn't have an AICP certified planner that has the vast experience that Tracy had, so we're trying to shift more of the planning emphasis over to her and some of us a little bit off the director, because that's what she does.
It might be helpful if we could get Martha's changes.
Yeah, I think so, and I've got one other question too, and I was less sure about this, but under the minimum qualifications, you mentioned must be certified professional engineer, professional surveyor with the state of Georgia, and that Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission Level 2 certified plan reviewer, either have it or obtain it. Did we discuss anything in there about the commercial certification?
As far as building a certificate?
Yeah.
No. And that really is the building inspector job, especially since we're going to have a chief building inspector now, or a qualified level there. And actually, I'm not sure that we necessarily want to require him to be a professional surveyor. Certainly, a professional engineer is desired, but I had thought of striking that.
Okay, I knew that we were going to have more and more commercial. Hopefully, certainly with the growth, we're going to have some. As long as we've got that under another category.
Yeah, we need just to make sure we keep our building official certified at that level.
Yeah. And is that in that job description for that one? Is that going to have to change any? It is?
No.
It's not?
So they're required to have certain things, and then as they get another one, you give them a slight increase. So incentive.
Well, this guy, we won't have to give any
No.
increases because he's got every certification.
Okay.
You want to
So
table
Martha's suggestions are not in here.
that? No, do you want to table that till we?
I think so. I think we ought to
I'd like
take a
to.
look at it, yeah. Okay. We'll table it for next meeting. Okay, plus the planner on that, that other one. Okay, budget schedule amendment. I guess you see, we added the 25th and taken out the 26th and 27th, or just taken out the 26th and 27th?
We added the 24th and 25th and took out 26th and 27th,
Okay.
which is changing the dates, is all it was doing.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve this change?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and second, discussion. All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Okay. Okay, next is surplus vehicles, equipment. We've got a list of about 26. Greg, you want to?
Well, basically,
Take
and
this.
I guess I'll entertain it by exception. We've been building up a fleet of these, and it's time to get rid of them. So I just had them go through, and everything that needs to be surplus as far as vehicles is surplus here. Just for FYI, CV stands for Crown Victoria, in case you wonder what that was. So there's a lot of the old sheriff's vehicles in here that sometimes have already been handed down to another department as well. And you see like the asphalt packers, 1987 vintage, so we're getting rid of some older stuff, and we're getting rid of some stuff with some high mileage, but we want to get it off the books and try and get some money back in the general fund from those. And the next thing I will be bringing to you is, we've already started it before Don left, and we've been working on for like these vehicles that we're getting rid of that are no longer in the fleet. Any parts that go to those vehicles that can't be used on anything else, we're going to box up. If we can't get the supplier to take them back and give us a credit, we are going to put those on Gov Deals as well. Donnie, the new manager, we got him from the private sector. So his ideas on inventory control are much more progressive, so that we'll be keeping a trend analysis on what parts we need and how often, so we'll be keeping a more appropriate inventory. So over the next few months, you probably see us bringing forth quite a few of these packages for stuff we'll want to surplus to get it out of inventory if we can't use it, and try and save get some taxpayer dollars back on it.
Greg, some of these, like the seed spreader and the asphalt packer, are those things that we either already have a replacement for, or we do not need or use them anymore?
Or they just don't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. Have all the usable parts off of some of these that are very specific been removed?
No,
Okay.
that's because they're not interchangeable.
Okay, okay. I was wondering, considering the age of some of these, what maybe the scrap value would be compared to on the website, you know, in the sale.
We can set a minimum bid, but normally on Gov Deals, there's something about bidding on stuff that you tend to get a better price as been experience.
You do?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, on some of these really old ones, if it was worth more really as scrap.
Well,
What doesn't sell, we can always.
we can
I
always,
was thinking of having.
but if somebody else, has another old one in any of the parts vehicle, then they have something to fix it with.
The more recent vehicles, Greg, are they either inoperable or,
Pretty much they have over 200,000 miles on them.
yeah?
They've already been handed down to other departments, like the
Yeah,
airport,
so-
turned theirs in for newer old ones. And
So, I guess the Kersey vehicles we have at the airport are better than what's on.
yeah, they were traded out for newer,
For newer usage.
whatever.
All right, and we still got, that still leaves us with some spare vehicles.
Yes,
If something
the sheriff
bad-
keeps spares in his fleet, anyway, yes. The problem is, we don't have very many Crown Vics left anyway, to try to utilize
Yeah.
parts. These are doing all Tahoes and Dodges.
All right, entertain the motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and the motion is to go ahead and dispose of these 26
Please.
listed things through Gov Deals or, and to declare them surplus. All right, do I have a second to that? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hands. Motion carried. Next is the budget fiscal year 14-15 amendments. Greg?
Alrighty, the way this is done is a little bit confusing but this is what was,
And we're in the 15-16
Yes.
fiscal year right
Yes.
now. This is
Yes,
last year's budget.
that's this year's budget.
No, it's going until June.
Oh, okay.
And most of these are recognizing revenues and then bringing them into the budget. I don't think we've got any in here that have gone extremely over budget yet. radio has. And of course, the Ag Center building hasn't. That's just a new line item. And the other was bringing in, for the most part, it's bringing in funds and then reflecting them in the line item budget to increase the current amount. And it, because the way he does it, they bring it into contingency and then they take it back out of contingency, which is a lot of accounting things. I would like to find an easier way to do this for y'all, but this has been what's been used for the past several years.
All right, motion?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
What was the unbudgeted annual membership fee that went from 3 to 7?
Well, I don't know. It was with the sheriff's department, but I know. Did you want to strike that and approve the rest of it while I find that out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's probably the ID cards.
But you put it under membership fee, which
Yeah.
it may be just misclassified.
Okay, so take that one off.
Take that one.
Yeah, I'll talk to the lieutenant tomorrow. Should have checked that.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right, I have a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, I have a second. I'll second it.
And that's
With-
mine,
with that-
minus that one line.
With that one line. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries.
And the item number 12,
Take that off the agenda.
Hamilton is doing a little more exploration, and they will bring that back to us
All right.
in the near future. Oh, they're gone? Oh, you're here, Stuart. Oh, there you are.
They're here, they just divided the conference.
You'll bring it back to us.
Next meeting if possible.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Greg?
I would like to have executive session for land acquisition and personnel.
Litigation.
And litigation. Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor, request for airport expansion land donation agreement.
Yes, sir. Before you is a land donation agreement. It's very similar to several others that have been used, but the land donation agreement is between the county, acting through the Board of Commissioners and the Ida Callaway Foundation, Ida Case and Callaway Foundation. And what the Callaways are doing is donating 19.4 acres of real property adjacent and contiguous to your current airport for use as a part of the airport. The legal description is shown in the agreement. The agreement also provides that it's subject to the covenants and restrictions imposed, and though there are some covenants and restrictions in the original airport deed for use, meaning that it ceases to be used for airport purposes, it reverts back to the Callaway Foundation. The fair market value, it was estimated to be at $6,000 an acre for a total donation of $114,240 by the Callaways to Harris County. And the agreement also provides that they would be allowed to cut and remove any timber within 12 months of the date of the agreement. I think they've already done that. And so then the Callaway Foundation, Ida Case and Callaway Foundation has approved this land donation agreement. And Mr. Chairman, the board needs to approve it. I will say that it's not a part of the package, but we're holding in escrow an executed limited warranty deed, which as soon as this is approved, Nancy will record the warranty deed. I know she's got a copy she's passing out. and it will convey the title to the real property, the 19 acres to Harris County for use as airport purposes. And I recommend this to you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, sir. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Should the motion for the agreement, in fact, include the language that's in the deed to show that it's subject to, what's in that deed book 41, page 24?
I didn't put it in there. I did put just a general clause in there that says that the county agrees to use the airport property as a part of its facility subject to reasonable covenants and restrictions to be imposed on the airport property by Callaway, and I think that is, would suffice.
Or maybe just to add to that, imposed in a deed from Callaway.
You can if you want to, but it, the deed, of course speaks for itself. It says we're not going to get it unencumbered.
Right.
And
It just cannot, shows that we understand there will not be any future restrictions imposed.
oh, yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. So we got a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All, were we including anything or not?
No, seeing the deed is a big help.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Okay, the next one is Mr. Taylor, the Grove Special Tax District.
Yes, sir. Before you is an ordinance creating a special tax district. And it creates the special tax district for the Mulberry Grove Special Tax District, which is, and the purpose of this is to impose, if it becomes necessary, a tax on the property which is, will be included in the Mulberry Grove Development project, which is on down the I-80 or 185. As you well know, there's a sewer line that's being constructed, which you approved from Muscogee County line to Mulberry Grove exit on I-185. It's coming up the west side of the road and then under I-185. You've already issued and approved bonds through the Public Improvements Authority for $5,400,000 to finance the construction of this sewer. Now, this sewer will be a public sewer. You will own, and the title will be vested in the Public Improvements Authority and or the county. And you've already also adopted a sewer ordinance to control and govern that sewer. And I think that's your first public sewer in the county that you have control over. Now, these bonds that are $5,400,000 worth of bonds are being paid according to the bond resolution, the bond documents, and the wastewater agreement with the Mulberry Grove entity. They're to be repaid through sewer tap fees, according to this wastewater agreement. Now, this special, we put in the wastewater agreement a clause that provided for a means of collecting all the money necessary to pay the bonds back if there is a shortfall in the sewer tap fees. Meaning that if we have another downturn in the economy, they're not able to sell this property, they're not able to, they don't have the number of tap fees to do it, to sell it. There is another mechanism in the wastewater agreement which is quite complicated and convoluted a little bit for the developers to pay. But if in the event that does not happen, then you are creating a special tax district And that special tax district is designated by tax numbers, tax parcel numbers. And a special, you will levy a special tax on that property within that district for any shortfall in the bond payments. Now, if you, net effect of this, it could be this. It could be that it could be some double taxation, and I think that is, and I know that it's correct. I've talked with the counsel for the Mulberry Grove. He agrees that there's double taxation, so that if the Grove sells a piece of this property, say to an entity, a big box store, that big box store is going to own that property. So let's say it's selling 50 acres. Then the big box store would have to pay the taxes on that 50 acres. And if there is a shortfall, then they will also we will also impose this tax on the entire district as it exists as we speak. So that you can't, they will not be able to sell off parts of it and then us end up with nothing left. Now, what happens if you have to sell the you impose the tax and then they don't pay the tax? Well, you can, this agreement provides, or this ordinance provides, that it's the same net effect as with the tax assessor, or excuse me, the tax collector. The tax collector would be able to sell this property as on the courthouse steps, and it would be sold as a lien against the property. And whatever money it sells for goes to pay the tax. I don't know that we are, hopefully we're not going to get down into that situation. But what we wanted to make sure of it was that there is, if you look on page on page 5 of this agreement, 6.173. This is the special tax district, and it provides for this levy without duplication, a special tax in each year, and then it says the county will have its usual liens and remedies to collect any sewer tax. But what this is an insurance, as best we can, to make sure that there's money to pay the bonds off in the event that there is a shortfall in the sewer tap fees, which will be paid on every time a tap is done. The money comes to you, but we'll go back to the payment of the bonds. Now, having said all that, don't ask a whole lot of questions about payment of the tap fees, because it is, it goes on for several pages.
I wouldn't dare ask that.
And that's in the wastewater agreement too, so.
I do have one, and do you have that map?
Yeah.
There are 3 little parcels of land that do not have a parcel number. One of them is on the west side of the interstate, just a little tiny triangle, and maybe it is parcel of the one on the other side.
It is.
Okay, and the other 2 are probably the same thing. I just want to make sure that.
Unless there's a special, if it's divided out and there's not a specific number on it, then it just goes to the.
Part of one across the road.
Yes.
Generally is what that does.
There are a couple of them that are across the.
Across 315.
Yes, and there are a couple of them that are, there's one little triangle that is on the northwest corner of the intersection of 185 and Mulberry Grove Road.
Okay.
Is it accurate that there are 2 parcel 032-040s?
Beg pardon?
The parcel 032-040, they're not
Two
adjacent, and there are 2 of them. Is that accurate for the numbers?
Those are the numbers that came off of the tax map that Wayne sent. So they may have come in at the same time and included in the same deed parcel. It's the only explanation that I've got. But they constitute one parcel.
And the acreage bears out what it's.
Yes.
Thanks, Chuck.
I started to when I first started drafting this, I started to put in the ordinance a meets and bounds description of all the property that came in. And I looked at it and it went on for pages, and I decided that that would not be the best thing to do, is just do it this way, as these numbers exist as of the day today the ordinance is adopted. And that way, if their parcels are sold out, it's still subject to the tax.
May we, did you decide so this would be attached to the ordinance too?
Yes, we can.
Right, thanks.
John, I do have a question.
Okay.
In the event it becomes necessary to levy a special sewer tax, how do we know what that tax will be, what that amount will be?
It will be the shortfall between the amount collected for
We need that
tap
tax to
fees.
make up the difference between what we hope to collect and what we didn't collect.
Collect, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and what, you know, and what the bond payment was for that particular year.
Okay. And then is that tax levied on the entire property?
Yes, the whole shooting match.
Okay, and then it's pro rata by size of property or the value of the property?
No, I mean, it'll be, you know, if it came up $100,000 short, then we would levy the tax on all of the, you know, the whole.
1,100 acres.
All 1,100 acres.
But then would it be per acre is what he's asking, is if it's $100,000, would it be divided by 1,100? That would be per
Different.
acre.
No, we're gonna levy the tax, you know, on the entire thing, not per acre.
Well, how are we gonna know how much to
You know,
give
how-
the bill?
yeah. Who's gonna pay it?
Who's gonna pay it is the property owner, which is Mulberry Grove Development
So
LLC.
there's one tax bill.
One time,
If it's 100,000 shortfall, then what's the name of it? Mulberry?
Grove.
Mulberry Grove will get the tax bill.
Yes.
Okay.
They own the property. The property came in two different, from two different entities, from MDC Turner LLC and then the GCW Partnership Holdings, which is basically the Bradleys and the Woodruffs. And that came in, but they put their money into one entity, Mulberry Grove Development LLC. And that's who owns this property, and that is who we will bill. And even though they may have sold it out, it will constitute a lien on the entire tract.
Okay. There should be a way to calculate exactly what the shortfall is.
Yes,
In
between,
terms of this order.
yeah, but, you know, you have to look back at the bond resolution and the bond agreement. You know, we got $5 million, and I've forgotten what the annual payment is, but if, at the end of the year, if we were short some money, they're gonna either come up with it. If they don't come up with it, we'll levy the tax.
So we'll know exactly what that.
Yes. Yeah, on an annual
Can't
basis.
be any more or less.
No, it has to be just enough to pay, for us to make that bond payment.
And that will be the case for how many years going forward?
I think it's a 20-year
Bonds-
payout.
The bonds will pay us to 20
You know,
years.
they probably paid out well before that, but it'll be the amount, the term of the bond transaction, which I think is a 20-year payout.
Thanks.
All right,
But this is just a safety net, trying to make sure that we, while we borrow money.
County's not left whole.
Right.
Yes, sir, is.
Yeah, taxpayers.
okay, any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please signify.
I'd just like to say, I'm not finding, and you may have made reference to this in here, but I would definitely like for the tax map to be included in case there's a change in it.
Let me see.
I think we've got to have something more than just the tax assessor numbers.
You know, if you look at 6.173, so the property identified as Harris County tax parcel, so forth,
Yeah.
as designated and numbered by the tax assessor of Harris County as of January 1, 2015. So I think that would.
But in the future, 5 years from now, or whenever, it may be hard to know what was in effect in 2015, because once the maps change, it's hard to see it again. It's why-
Yeah, I think it makes sense to attach it.
Okay, no, you can attach it, yeah.
Yeah, let's make it.
So there'll be a change to include the map as part of this?
Yeah.
Okay, you give me the wording?
Yeah, I mean, you can just, attach, or as attached here too, or just attached to this ordinance.
All right, any other questions or discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Anything else, John?
No, sir.
All right, now I'll make the motion that we go into executive session for litigation, personnel, and land taxes.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Motion carries. All right.